You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with Lisa Lain in the studio. She comes each week with garden questions coming in from around Arizona. Just you can learn something from your neighbors. So gardening is all about social, connecting, advice. So Lisa, welcome back to the Mountain Gardener.
Thank you.
Yeah,
good to be back.
Tag team, Mountain Gardeners. So Lisa's raised in the business. Kind of, you've done this for your entire life, all 30 something, 40 something, 50. Anyway, we've been married for 36 years. You can do a little bit of math there.
Yeah.
So, but this is about
gardening.
What are people asking or doing or saying?
Sure. So been a lot of watering questions, as you can imagine, because we kind of get into the heat of summer, and it's a challenge to figure those all out. But Lynn says she was in and she was told she was overwatering because she was getting leaf spot and black spot and powdery mildew. She said, I didn't think it was possible to overwater in the wintertime. But that's what's really causing the problems? What should I be watering? So many questions.
So watering, so it depends on what it is.
True.
So some things like daily watering. Your trees and shrubs and vines, they hate it. Your roses, they despise it. They'll wilt and wither and talk, and they'll talk back to you. Mm-hmm. And the way that plants talk back when they're overwatered is they'll get kind of wilty. They'll look like they are underwatered, and the leaves will start turning yellow. That's a secret. And then the insides, bottom leaves can sometimes get spotting, or you'll see yellowing with spots on it, or the tips will turn brown. These are all indications of, I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. The life is draining from my veins. Please stop watering. And so things that we've seen this week is lots of vines. So honeysuckle, things with dense foliage. See, plants have a way of protecting themselves. So they shade their own root structure. They actually will cool the temperature around their body. They have a way of changing their environment. And that's why we plant trees. That's why we plant shade trees, because trees are just a big glorified version of a honeysuckle that shades bigger areas of their surrounding to cool it down. So a tree can cool down their environment by 10 to 15 degrees. It's dramatic. I mean, it's not just the shade. They're physically changing. They're adding humidity. They're reflecting the sun. They're changing the wind. They're doing this knowing what they're doing. They're smart. Plants give them more credit. They know what they're doing. But what they need is to breathe at their roots. And so if you're watering every day your rose tree, your rose bush, your vines, your big shrubs, red tip photinia, they're going to tell you. And they're going to cry out going, please let me breathe at my roots. And so I would say right now, your trees and shrubs, give them a deep soak. Yeah, once a week. It's plenty. I know it's 95 and you are so hot, but they're not. They're basically hanging out. They're changing their environment. It's like you going out to your covered patio and you're just enjoying the shade, watching the sunset. That's what they're doing out in the yard in full sun. They're changing their environment so it's cooler for them. They're shading their roots so the roots don't get sunburned. And so they're changing their environment. So if you go out every day and water your rosemary, it's going to not be happy. So I say back off some. Now, that's just with your flowering, your container gardens, your hanging baskets, your tomato plants, different. These are short, shallow-rooted plants that are producing heavily right now. They're putting on tomatoes and cucumbers and pumpkins. They're actually producing stuff. So they're more sensitive. So they're probably, realistically, every day, every other day, somewhere in there is probably about right. Hanging baskets for sure. It's like 10% humidity with a breeze coming through. They're going to dry out daily. So they'll need more. So it just depends on what it is. But if you see yellow leaves, that's almost guaranteed it's overwatered right now. Now, if it's dry and crispy leaves on the ends, okay, at the top is burning back, okay, that's underwater. So what's happening now is you just have to be more exact on your watering, over and under. And so talk to your plants. Gardening is about communing with living, breathing, wild things that we've harvested out of the wilderness, brought into our backyards and tamed them. Now we're training them to adapt to your backyard. Help them. talk to them. They're like puppy dogs. They're talking to you. You just got to know how to read plant. And if not, bring a sample in and we'll tell you how to read plant. We can show you how to, I've seen a lot of leaf disease. So spotting, some mildew, some white coating stuff on the tips of the leaves, on geraniums. And so those are all indications of, I'm saying too wet. Another insider tip, probably the most important of all of them, and this is the curse of Phoenix and that whole desert thing. They're sending up bad information to us. Water in the evening. Plants will absorb more of this. Whatever you do up here, do not water in the evening unless you have to. So plants like to be dry going through the evening. Now, when it's 100 degrees at midnight down in Phoenix, okay, you can get away with that. Here, we're going to cool off in the 60s. It cools off. So the plants will actually take a breather and they're kind of going, oh, finally, it feels so cool. And they're going to take in some moisture then from when you watered in the morning. You really want to water plants during the cool of the morning. Hydrate them before the heat of the day, and they will do much better. So, Lynn, I hope that helps watering issues and everyone else.
True. And the other caveat I would throw out there is check your irrigation systems.
Yeah, that's true.
So you and I spent multiple hours,
2 weekends
checking irrigation. And we found a lot of things, some that were gushers, some that there was no water coming out of, and we're like, oh yeah, that's why that plant was looking like that. So everybody says, oh, my system's fine. Actually go out and check your system and make sure it is running.
Yeah, we had several abandoned emitters that were still running, watering nothing. So that's just a waste. So we're growing weeds. That's not good. We had some that winter damage. It had cracked some of the main valves. So we ran it a couple times just to see if we could see where water spots were showing, or if we could hear the water running. And so then we find, okay, there's a coupler that's broken. Let's just change that. Change it out. No more leaks. So we're not growing weeds. And then we saw some stress in the backyard, not the front yard. The backyard, we got 4 valves in the back, 4 in the front. So we got everything micro irrigated exactly. 2 solenoids. That's that electric black knob at the top of your valve. That's what the clock activates on and off. Well, 2 were bad. So the clock was saying, you're fine. You're looking good. Your plants should be going great right now. It's talking to satellites. It's giving you weather insight. It's communing with your app. And it turns it on. But when the valve doesn't actually activate, that's an analog like roadblock. So your digital stuff's all going, yeah, all good. And then it doesn't activate the valve. Change those out. Boom. Started working right away. Plants look 100% better. And then we had a bad pressure reducing valve. So your drip irrigation, it runs not at house pressure. If you're running directly off a hose bib right in, 50, 60 pounds per square inch into micro irrigation, it's going to blow heads off. It's not going to be true to its emitter head. You need to reduce that pressure typically to 20 to 30 pounds per square inch. So you're cutting that in half, and then everything flows correctly. Well, we had a bad one. It was leaking, causing issues, and that valve, the tree and shrub valve in the backyard, was just not accurate. We're going, what is going on with these plants? We changed it out a couple of weeks ago, and the catalpas are blooming better than ever. I mean, things are just going crazy because they're getting the accurate water.
Right.
The clock said I was right. The system proved the plants told us
you were wrong.
The clock is not right. And so we went out and adjusted. And I think it takes a tag team. So my hearing's not the greatest. Lisa's is awesome. I'm not a detail person. I'm more like, it's Lisa's detail. She was out there walking around going, I think I found another one. I'm going, okay, I'm bringing my little irrigation box over and changing things out. And it took a little bit. We got it together. Thanks for the help, babe.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without you. Okay, so one question and a couple comments, and we're out of time. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners.
Water's Garden companion plants for June are golden locust, silverberry, Hall's honeysuckle, and moonshine yarrow.
Moonshine yarrow is a fuss-free, heat-loving perennial with large clusters of canary yellow flowers held above a ferny foliage. It's just stunning.
Mountain Tough. You can't kill this perennial that only blooms better year after year.
Javelina and rabbit detest the summer blooms.
You'll find Moonshine Yarrow for a limited time at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.